Welcome to the video bulletin for Friday the 12th of May. I'm out here in the gardens, which are just looking lovely at the moment. And just a few days ago, last week, the new Chief Constable and I met with trustees of the Michael Causer Foundation and planted daisies, which is the flower of the Michael Causer Foundation, just over there. We hope that they will grow in the next few months, and it's a small thing, but it's a statement of solidarity with the Michael Causer Foundation against LGBT hate crime, and that's very much at the core of what we should be fighting for in our society, that sort of inclusion and love which we can show for everyone around us, and working with partners to make sure that that sort of hate crime doesn't flourish in our society. So watch for the daisies as they grow. Watch for other things as well, because there's a slightly environmental feel to this week's video bulletin, inspired by our Eco Church group, which I know will be is meeting this week. They met last night, and one of the things which they would like to do is to get our Sunday school involved in planting wildflowers. And we have spoken to the gardeners here about identifying suitable plots so that we can involve different members of the church community in helping our environment to flourish. And this is an environment to flourish. You can see behind me that things are growing, but we need to do our bit to make it flourish. So another of the initiatives which we're trying to promote, and after all the COVID pandemic restrictions are over, it'll become easier to promote it, is people accessing orders of service on devices. And we want to reduce the paper consumption in church. So at the moment we print a large number of services every week, but you can download the order of service already from the website. It's available from the Saturday night. Now, if you're standing in church playing on your phone, you might be tweeting, you might be watching the news, you might be surfing all sorts of internet sites that I don't want to know about, but if I see you, will think well of you and think, well, they are following the order of service on their phones. So whichever unsavoury site you're looking at, just don't tell me and I'll think you're doing the right thing. On the other hand, if you just want to be environmental, from Saturday night, it's available, the links from the homepage of our website, and you can use a device. People say that it's slightly easier on a tablet than a phone, but do explore that. And if we can begin to reduce our reliance on paper, then we can reduce the print run, which is better for our environment. There are other things you can do as well, of course. So the noises in the background, which have just stopped for a moment, of the roadworks on the Strand, remind us of the joy of driving into Liverpool city centre at the moment. Well, as the pandemic restrictions go and distancing requirements go, you could share that joy with other people in car sharing. And if after the restrictions are over, that's something that you'd like to do, share your lift to church with others on a Sunday morning, then we'll start to facilitate that. Now, a key member of our eco group is Ed Manderson, and Ed has a professional interest in these matters as well, and Ian has been talking to him this week.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Meet the Congregation video for Friday the 14th of May. I'm here with a really special member of the congregation, Ed. Hi Ed, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you, Ian. Yes, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Yeah. And how how are you doing now that kind of lockdown is ending? We're kind of getting out of it. We're escaping. How are you feeling?
Pretty good, yeah, because I'm hoping to meet up with a few people I've not seen for a while, family and friends. Although I've not actually minded being in lockdown that much, because I've quite enjoyed working from home and not having to commute into work. Where I work in Manchester, so not having to do that commute is pretty nice. But yeah, but I'm still happy to be coming out of lockdown because I'll get to see people I haven't seen, and yeah, it's quite exciting, isn't it?
The reconnection, it's great. Speaking of connection, how did you first get connected to St. Nick's?
Well, we started coming to St. Nick's, I think it was about 6 or 7 years ago. We were living in Manchester for a little while, but then moved back to Liverpool, and we love the church and started going, and we love everyone at the church. So it's been it's been quite natural just to keep going, and over the years.
Well,
And
we're really glad to have you. And you're now very engaged members of the church. Kind of going back to, this is kind of an eco-churchy Meet the Congregation / video bulletin thing. Crispin's bit before is going to be has been a little bit about the eco church. You are a member of the eco church team, as am I. What can you talk a little bit about what that team is doing and where it's come from?
absolutely. So I'm getting involved with this, with the Eco Working Party, the church's Eco Working Party. It's a group which is chaired by Becky, and Becky Selman, she's done loads of great work on this already. And so, I haven't done actually that much yet, so I don't want to take any too much credit, but Becky's been doing great work on this. But the idea is basically to improve the church's environmental credentials and also to raise awareness of environmental issues, I think, among the congregation. And we're also, I think we're hoping to get an award for the church eventually, if we can improve the church's performance in various categories, things like lifestyle and buildings, and engaging with improving the land around the church, and also getting more engaged with the local community, and promoting environmental issues and raising awareness of it, and improving our carbon footprint and so on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's lots and lots of stuff that kind of the Eco Working Party is kind of getting involved in. And just to everyone out in the congregation, keep your eyes out, because things are going to start coming thick and fast from the Eco Working Party. It's going to be a real party. But there's one thing in particular that we want to talk about just today. And what is that, Ed? What's the kind of first thing that the congregation is going to start to see?
Well, we are going to run a survey, and I think people can access the survey through the weekly bulletin, I believe. There'll be a transportation survey, so asking how you actually get to church. So that would be quite interesting. If you can please, everyone, complete that survey, and we can get a good idea of how people are traveling to church. We might consider, for example, if there's a possibility to have like a car sharing scheme when we come properly out of lockdown and people are comfortable doing that. I personally would quite like some bike racks at the church. So I'm really hoping a few other people will say that they occasionally at least cycle to church. So if you complete the survey, do say that if you do cycle to church, and we might be able to get some bike racks and make some other changes as well. So that's one thing people will be hearing about in the near future, I think.
Yeah, that's great.
Is that what you're referring to, Ian?
That was what I was referring to. Yeah. And there's a lot of cyclists in church. I mean, I bike to church, and I know Father Yazid sometimes bikes to church, and Ray is also interested in. He's an avid bicyclist. So there's lots of. I think there'll be demand. I think we'll be able to get
some potential there.
Yeah. All right, Ed. Well, that's probably all the time we have. Thank you so much for sitting down with me, and thank you so much for your help with the Eco Working Party.
Thank you very much, and thanks again to Becky as well for heading that group.
And everyone out there, we'll see you very soon. And do say hi to Ed when you're in church. He's really friendly and a great member of the congregation for you to know. So thanks very much, and then have a good day.
Thanks, Ian.
Well, we're looking ahead to the weekend now. We know we've got some busy weekends ahead of us. Ascension Day was yesterday, and so this Sunday is the Sunday after Ascension, the 7th Sunday of Easter. But next Sunday, on the 23rd, we'll be keeping the Feast of Pentecost. As many of you know, we like to read the Pentecost narrative in as many different languages as possible all at once. And if you could offer a language, then please do drop me a line, or I'll drop you a line if I know that you've done it in the past. It'd be good to try and get those languages going again this year. Well, that's for a week's time. This coming Sunday, though, we will continue our celebration of Eastertide. We are praying for the Reverend Tabitha Rao as she prepares to join us. She'll be licensed at Evensong on the 6th of June. But for now, I hope very much to see you at the Parish Eucharist at 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Whatever you're doing between now and then, have a very good weekend.